It's a step that we are willing to take.
Show your card before the show.
We need to and want to protect our staff, our patrons, our artists.
Vaccine requirements now going in place at local venues, and more mask orders are going in place at schools.
And hoping to get around the I-70 mudslide mess?
There's a secret shortcut around the Glenwood Canyon closure if you dare.
Now there's a push to make one dangerous detour safer for locals and visitors.
It's frightening. I mean, it's not for the faint of heart.
First tonight, clouds building over Metro Denver. The storms have been targeting the high country, as you know, lately. Tonight, they're coming to the Metro. Thank you for joining us for Denver7 News at 6. I'm Ann Trujillo.
And I'm Shannon Ogden, joined now by Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson. Mike, potential for flash flooding now in parts of the Metro.
We do have that possibility throughout the evening hours, you guys, as there are showers and storms building around the Denver area. This is what it looks like currently at City Park. Go up to the mountains and look at that shot. You can barely see anything off in just the chairlift tower there at Loveland Ski Area. Flash flood watches and warnings continue in the mountains, but also on the plains to the east of the Denver area. We've had one that's just about to expire out of central portions of Adams and Arapahoe County, but you can see the showers building back into the Denver area from the south and east, and that's going to continue into the evening hours. This may kind of close up and bring us some heavier rain here right along the I-25 corridor in the next hour or two. They also continue to the north. Pretty good showers forming up around the Estes Park area along Highway 34 and in the Fort Collins area. Now, we don't have any warnings on the burn scars currently, but the watches are in effect there. Cameron Peak, East Troublesome, farther to the south. We're seeing some on the Williams Fork, some rain showers there. The watches continue there, and out to the west along the Grizzly Creek burn scar and the Lake Christine burn scar. Both had warnings earlier this afternoon. Here's the headline: shower, storm site, locally heavy rain, lingering showers tomorrow morning. But the extended forecast has a big change in the pattern, hotter and drier. I'll have your full 7-day coming up in about 15 minutes.
Thank you, Mike. So as you know, as we've been telling you, I-70 could be closed for months in Glenwood Canyon because of mudslides.
CDOT's current detour adds 2.5 hours to the drive, but we found there is a secret shortcut. It's not on Google Maps.
CDOT says it's too dangerous for a detour. Locals call it a lifeline. Denver7's Jacqueline Allen takes the drive to see.
When I-70 shut down in Glenwood Canyon, traffic came to a screeching halt, except for those who know the shortcut. 3 times a day.
That's the worst spot.
John Harris is taking a detour you won't find on Google Maps for a reason.
I'm not scared, you're scared.
Parts aren't paved, they're narrow and they're steep. During this closure of Glenwood Canyon, CDOT recommends using this northern detour, which could add 2.5 hours to the trip compared to driving through the canyon. But locals know there's a southern shortcut at Cottonwood Pass that could carve hours off your drive if you dare. Is this the secret shortcut people don't know about?
We were hoping so.
Eagle County Manager Jeff Schroll says Cottonwood Pass is a lifeline for locals who need to get from Glenwood to Gypsum.
It can be teachers, doctors, construction workers. It's an important connectivity between our two valleys that really rely on each other economically.
More and more often when Glenwood Canyon shuts down, traffic here goes up. And not just locals.
I mean, we take it off of Google Maps and Apple Maps, and that, as you can tell, there's a lot of people that find it.
Safety is the main concern for Eagle County, which is why they have flaggers stopping traffic in the steepest one-lane section of the road.
Jeep, truck.
Eagle County now watches the pass 24/7 to keep off trucks, and they are making improvements, but the dangerous sections have seen roll-offs and accidents.
I think now people might be finally realizing the necessity for this.
Mike Gamba is a civil engineer, former Glenwood Springs mayor, and longtime advocate for improving Cottonwood Pass.
It doesn't need to be an interstate highway. It doesn't even necessarily need to be a state highway, but it needs to be a functional 2-lane paved all-weather road.
This week, CDOT says improving the pass is a long-term conversation, but for this region, it's a short-term solution, saving jobs, saving time, but not entirely safe.
It certainly can be a dangerous road. It's not a long-term alternative, that's for sure.
On Cottonwood Pass, Jacqueline Allen, Denver7.
It's an option, that's for sure. Bustang is now resuming service through Glenwood Springs by using a detour, of course. A usual ride from Grand Junction to Denver or vice versa would typically take you 5 hours, 40 minutes. Now with the latest detour in place, that same trip will take you nearly 10 hours. So yes, leave Grand Junction at 7 a.m., get to Denver's Union Station at 5:30 p.m. So if you are still looking for the best way to get around the I-70 closure, head over to thedenverchannel.com.
Denver Public Schools now is requiring masks for all students, teachers, and staff, and this is regardless of vaccination status. Masks do not have to be worn outdoors, and staffers who are vaccinated do not have to wear a mask when alone at their desk or in a classroom. The new policy begins on Monday. And all teachers in Denver will still have to get vaccinated by September 30th.
And teachers are just one of the groups now required to get vaccinated in Denver. And today we're taking a deeper look into what you had to say about the new Denver mandate. And Roe wrote on our Denver7 Facebook page, better late than never. Andrew says, good, people have the freedom to choose between getting a vaccine and a new job. Meanwhile, Sue thinks this mandate will lead to lawsuits. And Alyssa says requiring vaccines doesn't seem like the right thing to do. So here's your chance. What do you think? Do you think Denver's making the right move to mandate masks for a wide range of city employees, including teachers and healthcare workers? Email us your thoughts at 360@thedenverchannel.com.
And some cities are deciding to extend vaccine mandates to even more groups. Starting in September, New York City will require people to prove they have received at least one dose of the COVID vaccine to eat indoors, to visit gyms, or to go to theaters. The city is calling this program Key to NYC Pass. Now here in Colorado, 3 venues, Boulder Theater, Fox Theater also in Boulder, and the Aggie Theater in Fort Collins will soon require vaccination proof to see a show.
Or at least prove they've tested negative for COVID-19 within the past 72 hours. Oh yes, and you will have to wear a mask as well. Denver7's Patrick Perez has more.
A trip to your favorite music venue may soon require more than just your ticket and ID.
We need to and want to protect our staff, our patrons, our artists.
Beginning Saturday, you'll need to show proof of vaccination or a negative test result within 72 hours of a show to enter the Boulder Theater.
It's the only responsible policy that we could come up with and help slow these rates, the transmission rates, hospitalization rates.
That same policy will apply to the Fox Theater in Boulder and the Aggie Theater in Fort Collins, all owned by Cheryl Ligori and her company Z2 Entertainment.
This is a small step that we can take to keep our community safe and stay in business. It's a step that we are willing to take.
It's a sentiment shared by Dakota Soifer, chef and owner of Cafe Aeon down the street from the Fox Theater. He too will soon begin requiring proof of vaccination for anyone choosing to dine in.
It's tough when people start confusing that decision with being a Nazi and, you know what I mean, people's liberty and things like that.
Dakota says it's like showing your ID when buying a drink. It shouldn't be so polarizing.
If people are vaccinated, great. You're welcome to dine in the dining room with us. If not, no worries. Dine on the patio, get takeout or delivery.
Both Cheryl and Dakota taking steps now to prevent another total shutdown similar to the one that still has them both in recovery mode. In Boulder, Patrick Perez, Denver7.
And we have a little bit of good news tonight. More people are getting vaccinated. Weld County says they have seen a 20% increase in vaccinations over the past several weeks. As of today, another 5,000 Coloradans got their first dose of the vaccine. 3,000 more are now fully immunized. So today, more than 64% of our full state population is fully immunized. Well, Kyle Vinson says he thought the moments we all saw on Aurora police body cam video would be his last.
2 officers are now facing criminal charges for what happened to Vinson, and now he is sharing his story for the first time.
When I was leaving at Starbucks, the patrol car pulled up and said I was trespassing. Next thing I know, he's got his hand around my neck, and then I'm getting my face shoved into the rocks, and then I have a gun pressed up against my head saying, if I move, I'll shoot you.
Aurora Police Chief Vanessa Wilson says Officer Francine Martinez and former Officer John Howard first approached Vinson and the 2 men he was with on outstanding warrants. But Vinson says he had no clue he had a warrant, and he says he never threatened the officers.
And fortunately for me, my video was actually uploaded and everybody got to see it. And I'm thankful for that, so people can see the truth.
John Howard has resigned from APD and is now charged with assault in connection to Vinson's arrest. Officer Francine Martinez is facing misdemeanor charges for failing to stop what was happening and report the use of force.
In the past 5-10 years, things have really changed in the neighborhood.
Protecting Colorado's history.
Denver historians push to keep 50 unique places and sites intact.
Knowing more about the places in our city helps us feel more connected to our city and to each other.
And the Denver company now helping Olympic climbers.
We had the idea for making a hand sanitizer chalk, if that was even possible.
And totally immersed, a brand new look at one of Denver's most anticipated art experiences.